before before we start, we will have an opening prayer from Apostle Luke Masinde. He will give us a word from the Bible, then he will pray for us. Apostle Luke, kindly, you can just unmute and give us a word of encouragement, then you can pray.
Thank you, Laureen. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow. I want to welcome all our stakeholders. I want us to share something for this day. And we declare it, and the Lord will be able to take us through. In Jeremiah 29:11, the Bible says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you future and a hope." Shall we pray? Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you for this morning. We give you glory and honor. Thank you for gathering all of us here as HR professionals and practitioners. Lord, we pray that you take us through this meeting from the beginning to the end. We honor you, Lord, for every stakeholder that has found time to be able to make their submission so that this document can be improved on for the glory and honor of your name. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you. Back to you, Laureen.
Asante sana, Apostle, for the prayer and the powerful word that you've given us today. So just for the introduction, we are the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board, and we are established under the Act, that is the Human Resource Management Professional Act, that is 52 of 2012. And as an examining body, we are mandated to develop the curricula to examine HR professionals and to certify them. And we've been in existence since 2017, but the Act came into place 2012. So we also have programs, our programs, that is the CHRP program, which is the professional program. Then we have the diploma in human resource, which is a competency-based diploma, then a certificate in human resource. All those three are our programs, and we have been our mission is just to enhance the HR competency, which we do each and every day. So at this juncture, I want to do a bit of introductions. So I have requested that you can introduce yourself on the chat. Because we are many, I can see we are closing into 300 people, and what we can do is we can introduce ourselves on the chat. Then for all the others, the secretariat, kindly you can just unmute and introduce yourselves. I'll start by myself. My name is Laureen Aseka, and I am the head of communications. I'll also moderate this session today. So also the others can introduce themselves kindly. Secretariat.
Thank you. Good morning once again. My name is Luke Masinde, Principal Test Development Officer.
Good morning.
Asante, Mr. Luke, yes.
Good morning, our people. My name is Ingosi Mbomba, Manager Test Development.
Thank you. Yes. Any member of the secretariat who has not introduced themselves? Secretariat? Okay. If we do not have a member, I'd love to introduce our CEO, that is CHRP Margaret Ngu, who, of course, is a CHRP and our Chief Executive Officer and the Secretary of the Board. So, CEO, you can introduce yourself and give the opening remarks and an opening remarks from HRM. Karibu, CEO.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for. Good morning. Thank you. I want to thank everyone who is here. I think we are full house. We are at 294 now. That's a very good turnout. We have introduced, or we want to introduce, or we want to implement a transition policy, which is in line with our mandate. If you look at our mandate is to actually do the HR curricula for HR professionals, to examine the HR professionals, and to certify HR professional. When the act was enacted in 2012, if you look at our act, our transition clause in the act, it says any examinations currently being conducted by any statutory body for the purpose of qualifying as a human resource professional shall be transferred to the examination board within 12 months of the commencement of this act. So the 12 month was just the minimum to transfer all HR examinations and all HR credentials to HRM-PEB, because HRM-PEB is the only one that has the mandate to certify HR professionals. Because then of that, and because again, as HR, remember, we are guided by the principle of inclusivity, the principle of fluidity and flexibility. Organizations that survive today must accept the fact that we have to be very flexible and fluid. Otherwise, we will not be there to certify human resource professionals. This policy has been made in very good faith, considering particular category of HR professionals for inclusivity. I will not say much about the policy because we want to present it to you. We put it on all media, on our website and everywhere. And I'm sure that most of you, it's not a long policy. It's a short one. I'm sure most of you have gone through it. And so I want my officer, Masinde, to present this policy to you. While we bring it to the stakeholders, it is your right as stakeholders to make suggestions about the policy so that we can improve on it. And therefore, we are bringing you this policy to you so that you can give us your feedback. And once you have given us your feedback, then we shall process that feedback and then see how to make our policy better, because this space is for all of us. The HR space is for all of us. And once more, thank you so much. Let me take it back to Raureen Aseka, the MC for today. Back to you, Aseka.
Asante sana CEO, CHRP Margaret Ngu, for those remarks, opening remarks. And as the CEO has insisted, said, we are mandated to examine, to certify, and to develop the curriculum. And at this juncture, we want to present the transition policy, but I can see that people are continuing to introduce themselves on the chat, and we want to recognize our stakeholders, that is the training institutions. We want to recognize our students. We want to recognize our regulators who are here today. We also want to recognize our Ministry of Public Service, that is the State Department also of Public Service and Human Capital, where we are a state corporation there. And we also want to recognize all the other stakeholders, the HR industry players who are here today. So as we start this presentation, we want to thank you for joining, and I want to give it to the Principal Test Development Officer, Mr. Luke Masinde, who will present the transition policy. And as stakeholders, we can take notes, then we can ask our questions afterwards, or we can give our reviews after the presentation is done. We will also give our email address and our contact numbers in case you want to reach to us. So asanteni sana, and Mr. Apostle Luke, you can take it.
Thank you, CS Lorena Seka, for the opportunity for me to present. The CEO, our CEO, CHRP Margaret Gu, members of the board present, members, representatives of the State Department, Ministry of Public Service, representatives of institutions, training institutions, our regulators, KNQA, TVETA, members from the industry, and all the CHRP finalists, and all the CHRP professionals. We recognize your presence. Good morning, everyone. I want to take you through the draft transition policy. This policy is meant to help us understand how we'll be able to have a framework for us to move from where we have been to where we are supposed to be. And this is the presentation of that policy, presentation on transition of the practicing human resource management practitioners to certified human resource professionals, CHRP-K. On the background, as we all know, prior to the HRMP Act number 52, in section 16 of that Act of 2012, human resource profession was unregulated before the Act. And the enactment of the Act made provisions for HRM regulation in CAP number 538. It regulates two major things: the profession, entry into the profession, and the practice. And it's in line with the entry into the profession that we get the mandate as HRM-PEB, which includes prescribe and regulate syllabuses for HRM professionals, examinations, prepare and conduct examinations, make rules with respect to examinations, prescribe examination fees, make rules with respect to examinations, issue certificates to successful candidates, promote recognition of its examinations locally and internationally. The current status, as it is now, HRM-PEB has certified 3,713, representing 18.7% of practitioners. HRM has registered, IHRM has, on the other hand, registered 19,836 HR practitioners. As it is before the Act, the HND in HRM or equivalent foreign certification by Chartered Institute of Personnel Development from the UK, all those who had that qualification had a qualification equivalent to CHRP-K. HND or equivalent is categorized by the Kenya National Qualification Framework as level 7, which is an equivalent like of a degree, but this is a professional qualification, same as the CHRP-K. HND, that is Higher National Diploma holders, have gained competence through practice and continuous development. The objective of this transition policy is to provide a formal threshold framework.
Mr. Luke,
to
your
recognize
mic is off. Mr. Luke, your mic is off.
For the certification of the qualification proportionate to certification in CHRP-K obtained prior to the
We could hear him.
He was audible.
You have now gone off. Please switch on.
He was audible, but now he's off. We can't hear him.
Sorry. There's an internet problem, and Mr. Luke will be back just in a minute. Kindly let us just bring it back. So as our principal test development is setting up, we had an issue with the internet, but it will be back very, very soon. So let's just give 3 minutes, maximum of 3 or 4 minutes. He'll be back.
I hope HRM-K acknowledges the time we are losing now and adds more time for the plenary because of the lost time.
No problem. We will definitely consider that, and we will add more time. So no worries. We will definitely do that. We just had a problem with the internet, and they are sorting it out right now. Thank you for being patient and also for joining.
May I equally recommend that as you wait for the internet to be sorted, you could be going through the chats because it's quite a lot is being posted there, and then you just take down what you need to address, because I believe this is a very vital session for us to express ourselves. So there's a lot in the chat box. You could be going through that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelly. That is well noted, but we wanted to finish the presentation so that everyone who has not understood the transition policy can understand, then we can take up from there. But thank you so much. We can see the charts, and also just continue putting all your views and inputs on the chart so that we can pick them and they can be considered. So thank you so much, Nelly, for that. Our network, I think, is back, and we are putting up the presentation. Asanteni.
Good morning. I don't know why we cannot hear the organizers. Even the host is not talking. So maybe we can
Hello,
take over and
hello.
table.
I can
Yes.
hear so well. Sorry, we are
Okay.
having a technical hitch, and we are just
Okay.
addressing it right now. We were
All right.
on, then our internet dropped, so most of us
Okay.
dropped. But we are just in the next 5 minutes we will be presenting. Sorry, and we will give more time as you have requested for the plenary. We will
No
consider.
problem.
Poleni sana.
Aye.
Moderator, number one, we are already here. Number two, we've already read the transition policy document. Number three, there are already comments, as my colleague said, at the chat box. So if
Can the organizers
Luke, you
Hello,
can
sorry.
unmute and continue. Yes, go on.
Yes, I was saying the objective of this transition policy is to provide a formal threshold framework to enable us to recognize, equate, and then do the transition of the certification qualification proportionate to the certification in CHRP-K obtained prior to the operationalization of the CHRP
Look, we cannot hear you.
Sorry?
We cannot
Can you hear me now?
Go back.
Can...
We
Right
can
now,
hear you
so go back a
on
bit.
our end.
Now
CHRM
we
is
move
having
to
issues
just...
on the internet.
Correct? Yeah. Justification and rationale. CHRP is now a mandatory professional certification for HR practitioners. It would be disappropriate not to recognize certifications obtained prior to enactment of the HRMP Act and its operationalization. Earlier certification recognized in the industry, the certification demonstrated competence and professionalism equivalent to CHRP-K. The policy statement, it will create a structured pathway for individuals practicing to transition to CHRP-K and ensure that the professionals are equipped to meet the latest certification requirement. The legal framework. This policy is anchored on the following legal framework: the Constitution of Kenya, Article 43 of the Constitution, which provides for the right to education. The Kenya National Qualification Framework, CAP 214. Which established standards for recognizing qualifications obtained in Kenya and outside Kenya, align the qualification obtained in Kenya with global benchmarks, facilitate mobility and progression within education, training, and career path. Part C is a Human Resource Management Professional Act, CAP 538. It establishes the Human Resource Management Examinations Board, Professional Examination Board, and we already said the mandate earlier on. ILO 204 recommendation on human resource development, education, training, and lifelong learning. Number 195, a framework for recognition and certification of skills and experiences, irrespective of where and how they were acquired. The Kenya Vision 2030, education as key within the social pillar to steer Kenya to middle income by 2030. The Kenya Credit Accumulation and Transfer Policy of 2021, a framework to recognize prior learning and ensure seamless progression of learners between qualification pathway, thus achieving equitable access and enabling lifelong learning. The guiding principles. This policy will be guided by the ethical values, validity, and reliability. In the ethical values, we shall have fairness, transparency, respect, integrity, and objectivity in the recognition and transition. Validity. Recognition and transition of HRM professional certification prior to the enactment of the Act, that is number 52 of 2012, and operationalization of the CHRP-K, that is from end of 2016, 31st December. Reliability, ensure consistency in recognition and transition of HRM professionals certification prior to the enactment of the Act and operationalization of the CHRP-K. Regulatory framework, strategies for implementation. The following strategies are enshrined in this transition policy to ensure that it is done properly. Recognition and transition threshold has been set, as I'll be giving you the eligibility criteria. Diligence on certification sought to be recognized and transitioned. Assessment aligned with HRMP quality assurance policy. Link the recognition and transition of certification with Kenya National Qualification Framework level descriptors. Assign specific roles to relevant officers within the HRMP institution. Assess the capacity of the existing staff in the establishment to undertake the function. Build capacity of relevant staff. Enter into protocol of arrangement with relevant institutions having a role in recognition and the equation of qualification obtained. Mainstream quality assurance in the recognition and transition process. Establish a monitoring and evaluation system. Mechanisms to ensure adequate and timely availability of resources. Eligibility criteria. Candidates should have all the following: a HND in human resource management or any other recognized professional certification, a minimum of 15 years of continuous human resource management experience, 10 of which should be at a management level. That is for the professional and the experience. And then the academic part. Academic educational should either have a degree, a postgraduate, a master's, or PhD in HRM. An active practicing license from the industry regulator, that is the HRM. Be a member of the professional HR body and in good standing. If a person holds a degree in social science and has met all other requirements, they must also have either a postgraduate, a postgraduate qualification in human resource management or an HR certification that is classified at level 7 by the Kenya National Qualification Framework.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, you lost me again?
No, we can hear you.
Clear. You are
We
clear.
can hear you.
Clear.
You're very clear.
All right.
Audible.
Very
Luke, you
clear.
can go on.
Now, recognition and certification process. This will be the process. Application. Persons who meet the eligibility criteria may apply electronically or deliver physically and attach relevant certified certification. Verification. Confirm the identity of the applicant and the validity of the certification. Remember, it is very academic in this case that you are bringing your academic documents and they will be confirmed unit by unit. It's not that you just get a waiver. It is unit by unit to confirm that it aligns with what is there. That's why the verification is there. Approval. The head of examination administration department shall prepare validity and eligibility report of the application, submit and then submit the same to the CEO. That's like doing a process of exemption so that you see which one is available and which one is not available. So it's not automatic that when you apply, you get. Then the next thing is approval. Let's move. It will be, then the report from the head of department will be moved to the CEO. Then the CEO will pass the same information to the relevant board for consideration. Then the members of the board, again, that committee will submit their recommendation to the full board, just like the normal exemptions is done. So where the applicant has not met all, they cannot be awarded. That should come out very clearly. So the application process is here. There is the application, then there's the verification. Then after the verification, it is the report is written by the head of department examination. Then it's passed to the CEO. Then the CEO will pass to the relevant committee. Then the relevant committee will pass it to the board. Then there will be a certification process. So the transition period will be a period of 1 year. Effective the date, it will be, remember this is a draft policy. That's why it's at this level of participation, public participation, so that you can add in your views. Then after that 1 year, it will close completely. This is in line with those of you who are already CHRPs. There are those who did the old curriculum. And you know very well that in the old curriculum, which is coming to an end towards the end of this year, in the old curriculum, all units, if somebody had all units, there are some who even sat for only 2 papers. So it's the same just model. It's the same model that will be used at this level to ensure that it is a purely academic, and they must prove that you have done those units. And if you have not done, you will not get, maybe you may get the part certification at the levels you have qualified, not the whole of it. So, and the fees will be 91,000, which is equivalent to what the rest are paying. So that is it. So in summary, this transition policy is not just a walk, like you come with the papers and you are given. This transition policy is just in line with the ongoing old curriculum. It is in line with the ongoing old curriculum, but it has a limit. You must have all those criteria that we have spoken about, the 15 years of experience, the HND or the professional qualification equivalent. You must have the 10 years in management. You must be in good standing and a member with a practicing license. So none of the eligibility will be waived for you in this case. So if your units, that's why we're looking at the academic. You must have the academic and the professional, the unit per unit model, so that if you meet all of them, you get. If you don't meet all of them, then you have an option to sit for the exam in the areas that you are limited in terms of providing the evidence. And for those who may need the credentials that are in the new curriculum, then you need to do short courses, micro-credentials, so that you can acquire those skills. We spoke about this yesterday, like in HR audit, metrics, and analytics. So that is what I can say for today. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Luke Masinde, for your presentation. It has been elaborate, and Mr. Luke Masinde has been elaborate on the transition policy and who will be eligible, and what he has said. I'll start from where he has stopped, and he has insisted that this is not a pathway to just give someone CHRP. It is something that is being done currently with the old curriculum, where those who are CHRPs will tell you right now, others did 1 unit, others did 2 units, others did just 3 units, and they got CHRP because we were recognizing through exemptions that these people have sat these papers, and we were transferring that. And as the CEO had said, this is in the Act, the HRM-P Act, where it gives us that mandate. So thank you so much, Mr. Luke, for elaborating on the transition policy. And it's also clear there that the transition policy will be just affecting those who started practicing before the Act was enacted and HRM-P operationalized the CHRP. Also, Luke has talked about how we are going to do the process, and touched on what was the rationale for this. And we have said that some of these qualifications if you look at the KNQA, that's the Kenya National Qualification Authority, they have equated all the qualifications, and CHRP is at level 7, and it is with other qualifications, that is, example, higher national diploma and other qualifications. Also, for the justification and the rationale, okay, and the presentation actually is on the chart, so you can go to the chart and look at the presentation. Then also we are looking at the legal framework of this, and Luke has already touched on it and said that it is anchored on most of this the Constitution, the Kenya National Qualification Framework, and the HRM-P Act, and all the Kenya Credit Accumulation and Transfer, where we are allowed to transfer some of these credentials. So just in short, this will be an ethical process. It will have validity and it will have reliability, and there'll be a full committee sitting to discuss this. And as we've said, this is something that currently, if we look at people here, I know there are people who have done the old curriculum, there are people who have done the other new curriculum, and for the old curriculum, people will tell you that exemptions were being given, and also the transfer of credit was being recognized. So the transition policy is, and that's why we are doing this public participation, because we want to better the document. We want to discuss. It's not a fight between us and our stakeholders. We want to better the document, and we want to hear your views, and you tell us what is it that we can include in the document. How can we make the document more viable? What can we do for the profession? Because as we speak, the HR profession, we've been saying that our numbers will speak for ourselves. If we get the numbers right, if we try and put our profession out there, then we will be able to sit on the table, and to also be able, we will be able also to reach a position where we can negotiate on the table. So thank you so much. And I know we have a lot, but what we will do is that we will give the stakeholders some time to speak. I can see a lot of chats. I'll read within the chats. Then I've seen we can give about, first of all, we give 3 hands, an opportunity to speak, then we will be able to answer.
We're not happy
And
at
also,
all.
excuse, if you're not speaking kindly, you can mute your mic. So Nelson Ogudha, you can unmute and speak.
Oh, I hope I'm audible enough. Yes, thank you very much for all this. And I'm looking at, I've also gone through the policy, and we're in the right direction. But now the first question is, what took us this long to come up with this? But then that might not be answered now. So on eligibility criteria, that's where most of my questions will come in. Now, number one is that we have in A, you must have higher diploma, and then Luke also spoke about CIPD. So we also know that we also have other certifications or other qualifications that we have, like SHRM, SHRL, PHRI. So if someone has those ones, are they also going to be eligible for this? Number two, on the years, on the number B, minimum 15 years of experience, continuous experience, and 10 years in management. HR is considered a manager in almost most companies. And then the titles also varies. You find someone having as a title a HR manager, and whatever they do in these companies might be equivalent to a HR assistant in another company. So if you talk about those 10 years of experience, how will we quantify to know that this is what meets the criteria, or what is the criteria that we're going to use? Clarity on that will be appreciated. Then on number D, you must possess an active practicing license from the industry regulator, which is from IHRM. So if you want to own a HR firm, then you must be a practicing member. Don't want to own a HR firm, don't want to be a consultant, there's no need for you to become practicing member of IHRM. In this case, you can become associate member, a full member, or a fellow member. So that number D only means that consultants are the ones that we are looking forward to. So it will not work for someone who doesn't want to be a consultant. So for me, it should be removed as one of the eligibility criteria. When we come to be a member of HR, we are shown that we only have 18,000 HR who have registered with IHRM. So we are looking at this and saying that if you're going to give certification to someone who is a member, are we saying that this person with 15 years of experience can now go back and register today and become a CHRP based on number E? Or what timeline are we looking at? Because we started practicing 15 years ago. You have 15 years experience by 2018 or 2017. Yeah. So are we going to look at how many years you are registered with the IHRM, or you just go there today and register, then you come and get a certification? So to number E, you can clarify on that. Then on the process of approval, we have examination, then the CEO comes in to also review, then it goes to the committee again to review. CEO sits in the board. I want to believe so. The committee are the internal members or maybe external members who will also be looking at this document. So I want us to shorten the process and say that once it has gone through the verification of the examination members, it goes to the committee, then to the board for the approval. Then we should be done with that. On the micro skills that we are looking at, and Lucas say that we have got certified HR auditor, certified
Nelson,
HR
sorry for
analyst.
cutting you short.
I'm just finishing.
But
I'm
please,
finishing. I'm on the last
just,
one. I'm on the last one.
After Nelson, I will be giving just 2 minutes for each person. Okay, go on.
I'm on the last one. So we have everybody now training, and their trainings are certified. So how again are we going to look at the quality of that and bring it up in terms of the recognition of the prior learning? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelson. We've taken your questions. Joseph, kindly 1 minute each. We have a lot of hands up and so many. Also, we have a lot of chats. So just Joseph, 1 minute, and your 1 minute starts now. Nelson, you can put your hand down.
Okay, thank you. My concerns goes direct to your mandate. If your mandate is to design curriculum, to examine and then certify, why is it that it has now become important that you only want to certify and not to examine? The other question, I think it should be directed to the board and to IHRM. Instead of having people jump the process because it's like it is becoming a shortcut, why couldn't IHRM regulate the field so that those who are practicing would go back, book exams, get the exemptions? Because if we bring in the idea of level 7 and being a higher diploma and a degree and a CHRP, then we need to distinguish what is academic, what is professional. I think that is lacking. The other key point is that you have gone ahead and designed a policy instead of beginning with the public participation. So there was a jumping of the queue. You should have started with the public participation, then gone to the policy. Now,
thank you so much, Joseph. We've heard you and
No,
we've taken
don't cut
your
him short.
down.
Let him finish.
CHRP, thank you. But please, we have 10 more people. Can we do like 1 minute? We can agree because we have 10 people who have raised their hands up. So if we can keep it short, we try and ask the question within a minute. It will really Joseph, 30 more seconds, please.
I think it is fair to have, even if it's less people talking, that their points get exhausted.
Okay, kindly, Joseph.
Yes.
I was giving you, yes, 30 more seconds kindly to wind up.
Okay, I was on the point of jumping the process whereby the board has jumped the process of initiating or bringing the new policy. And then
Yes.
the last
Charles,
point is that
CHRP Charles, you can mute your mic. Yes, Joseph.
from the initiation of the process, it seems that there are those who are being targeted by this exercise. So it's not kind of coming out as a fair exercise, because I remember registering for CHRP would have required that we go through the process as mandated in your constitution and your roles and responsibilities. When we jump some of the processes, like for myself, I smell that there are some people whom you want to certify on the basis of the quality. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've had your question. Brian. Brian.
Okay, good morning. Yes. You getting me?
Yes, we are getting you, Brian. You can speak.
Getting me? No? Okay, hope
We
you are
can hear
getting
you,
me.
Brian. Go ahead.
Okay,
We can hear you
my
so
first
well.
question I have over the review. My direct question goes to eligibility. I want to start from where Joseph left. What is the difference between academic and professional? Because I thought that when it is academic, you must seek for a certification from a professional course. So my proposal was that if you are now onboarding these guys with the experience, yes, you may have experience, but also time changes. There is new things that has come to the new syllabus. Why don't they bring their papers? You look at what they have not learned, then give them exams, then we'll proceed. Number two, what are others are doing, like IceBack, like the lawyers body, what are they doing? Because I am seeing that there's a point where we are going to certify people who don't have a clear qualification. There is a difference in qualification, because as I have experience, of course, I must have the rightful certification. Not just come, I give you the certification. Lastly, me, I want to say through the paper, let us do experiences. All of us, we went through degrees, we did the diplomas, but we did our CHRP and got satisfied. And I remember last October, we took an oath to defend this certification. So let all of them also go to the process, take the oath, and they do what we did, and we'll have a very superior certification. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. CS Japheth. And also, others can also put their questions on the chat. I'll read the chat just in a minute. CS Japheth, Brian, you can put your hands down.
Okay, thank you so much. I have 4 points to make. One is the issue of certification and licensing. All over the world, certification precedes licensing. But here you are saying, once you are licensed, some will give you a certification. So you need to combine that with IHRM. The second thing which I want clarification is, how do you arrive cost of 91,000 to make someone be recognized when they already have the qualification. So you only issue a certificate and you are charging them 91,000. What is the motive behind the 91,000? And then what is the difference between certification and exemption and recognition of prior learning? You have an exemption policy and it goes the same way as this recognition. And finally, you are talking about any other recognized professional qualifications. If I have something procurement,
Kindly, Charles Mutembei Mbaka, can you unmute? Or admin, kindly could you unmute Charles? And Japheth, your time is over. CHRP-KR, you can unmute and speak.
Sorry, just to intercept, kindly, the others can be posting their feedback on chat. We are actually monitoring the chat box also. It will help us to move with a little bit more speed. And collect more reviews.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Laiboni. We have 3 hands up. We have CHRP-KR, Grace Ndungu, and Ngetich. The 3 will speak, then we can go through the chat, then we can answer and incorporate stakeholders' views, then we will finish the meeting. So CHRP-KR, you can unmute and speak.
Thank you, Madam Lorraine. Am I audible?
Very audible. Go on.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted us to review one thing. Benchmarking is a very critical aspect in any approach in terms of a formal structure like what we have right now. Have we at any particular point as HRM PEB benchmarked with the available make the but we focus on rigorous processes that will ensure that we have quality in the profession. The moment you eliminate examination for professional qualifications, you open doors. You open doors.
Excuse, there's noise coming from somewhere. The admin, kindly, you can check. You 1+C, I don't know. You can unmute that gadget, please. CHRP-KR, you have 30 seconds to go.
So the moment we eliminate examination, when it comes to certification of professionals, we will always open doors for conflict of interest, favoritism, and even creating so much doubt in the companies and organizations where we work as far as our qualifications are concerned. Right now, there are several HR professionals in various companies where when you go to those boardrooms, you will simply be resigned to serving tea, offering opening prayers and closing prayers. Why? Because the procedure of certifying HR professionals is so much ambiguous. Why can't we just have clear ways of comparing our HRM PEB to an established stuff like NSK so that there is simplicity, whether you have done.
Thank you, CHRP-KR. We've had your question. It's about eliminating examinations, and we will answer. Asante sana, we've had your question. Grace Ndungu, kindly stick to the question, and kindly requesting that if a question has been asked, don't repeat it, because there are questions which have been asked before. Kindly stick to another question. Grace?
Thank you. My question is on one. I'm looking at the criteria for approval for certification. One, that one has to have 15 years, 10 years at the managerial level. And I wonder, when one gets HRP, immediately they acquire the title. But this other one, that you must be at managerial level, yet we know the criteria, especially in the public service, for you to reach that managerial level, you can even retire without reaching that. Does it mean that person, because I imagine his CHRP, someone who has just graduated at 22, someone is 50 years, has never reached the managerial level, but has what it takes, maybe the degree, the higher national diploma and all these. But the promotion criteria does not favor, because we know what happens in this. Does it mean that person will not get that certification? Two, I want to look at the people, you see this transition, the people who got HND, if you look at their age now, they're almost retiring. So when you talk of exemptions and you still pay 91,000, at 55 plus, most people with HND, I know they are 55 plus or 50 plus. This is not the time to look at education and all this. Most of them are the head of HRs. So they have acquired the wealth of experience and everything. And they're the people mentoring CHRP. So if you tell them at 55 plus to go back to class, I think, because even this like HR audit, these people as head of HR, they are taken for these short courses, they do those things because these are upcoming issues. They are upcoming skills that were never there. But these people are taken for short courses so that to adopt to the environment. Then when you talk of 91,000, surely, exemptions. At that age, do you really want to now even invest in education or to invest in your retirement benefits? So I think those are the things that should be looked at, that you have gone through the ladder, you did the HND at the right time with the right body, and you are certified. So, and you've gotten all the experience. And this HRP are getting you as the head of HR, and you are actually mentoring them. So I like you look at that, the criteria, and I think that one should be adjusted. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. We've heard your sentiments. Ngetich Milka. And as Ngetich Milka just comes in, I want to recognize the presence of the Executive Director of IHRM, Madam CHRP Kuresha Abdullahi. I'll give her an opportunity to speak on the transition policy and everything that is going on today. So, Madam Kuresha, thank you so much and karibu sana. Ngetich, you can unmute and speak. Madam Kuresha? You can unmute and speak. Ngetich, you'll come next. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and apologies, I had another exam which I was hosting, and first of all, I want to appreciate everyone who is on this call, which is the numbers are quite high. So I really appreciate each one of you for joining the call, even though some of you must have received this on a short notice, but 300 of us is a lot, and I appreciate that. Secondly, and I'm just looking for a quiet place as I speak to this, because it's important, the people who I'm speaking to see my face, or the video, the host has muted the video, but I know when you have a policy, and let me just speak to professionalism, okay? You know, as IHRM, we regulate the profession, but you cannot regulate a profession if you don't have the standards in place. And when you put the standards in place, you must have a certification course. And globally, if you look at all professions, it goes beyond academic. Having said that, to be honest, this morning, I must appreciate, and also it came to me as a surprise on the number of petitions I have received on this transition. But I want us to, all of us, to take some steps back. And when I tell you steps back, this is July, we are celebrating HR month. What we are celebrating, were it not for the founders who thought fit in 1987 July that we must have a professional body, then we will not even have an audience and will not even have anything to reject or object to. And maybe there was a mishap in our act, but if you go to ICS, ISPAC, there was a transitional clause, which we missed out on our act in 2012. I know, and I am in that group of CHRPs, and if my classmates are here, I will tell you, we will meet because of our busy schedules. We will discuss for exams from 8:30 to 11 p.m. because remember, we have workplaces and also we have families to run. So most of us, when we put our kids to sleep, is when we will read for this certification. But then remember, we have that other group of who have gone beyond before us. They practice HR when there was no university that was even considering HR as an option. It's only fair that we have a transitional clause. And if you read this policy carefully, and for me, I just want to focus on that, is that it sets a criteria. And as IHRM, we are very clear that this should only onboard for anyone who was practicing HR before 2012. Okay? And I want us to have a dialogue around that. I know I have my seniors in this call today, fellows of the Institute. I have KK, I have Dr. Salome Gitoho. I have many fellows who have really bled for this profession, who have lobbied, who have even slept at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. coming up with the act that we have right now. So I assure you, IHRM is fully aware of this policy and we promise to support where we can. Remember, I know what most of you are really talking about. For us to get to that space whereby you can only be a member of IHRM until you do the certification, we need to be fair. And to be fair means we need to consider those who arrived before us, before 2012, where do we put them? And that is the focus I want to put on for me from a qualification perspective. And let's have that dialogue and let's also appreciate them because, and I can never be overemphasizing that we must be very mindful as HR professionals. You know, we have institutions that depend on us. We have families that depend on us. We also, for me, every time I walk to Prism Towers, I can never be more thankful than remember the founders who are here. And yes, that those of you who had the resources, that those of you who had you've done it, but there were promises made over the year. And most people waited on that promise. And coming up with this policy, it shows it doesn't just say, let's just onboard everyone. It's going to be systematic, which you've heard of it, and let's embrace each other. I think my call as HR professionals is let's embrace each other. We are the professional body, we regulate, and IHRM is not an association, it is a regulatory body, and we're here to listen to all of you. So please, let's be open-minded about this. And I know HRM-PEP will organize to have a dialogue with that. We're not even that many. Imagine we're less than 4,000 of us who are CHRPs. And we can give our input and let's not leave everyone. Let's do this for our profession, not for individual interest. I know very senior people who did the CHRP, but also there are others who didn't do it for many reasons, including maybe even the financial capability. If you look at the other professionals, they have a foundation which supports such. So that is my contribution to this. And I want to assure you, I have compiled anyone who has sent me messages this morning and yesterday, and we will make sure that dialogue happens. It's not about me, It's about building a legacy for the profession. You're all justified to have the opinions you're having, but we must all get there together. So let's leave no one behind in the spirit of fairness, because I know someone will say include equity there because you've done the CHRP. What this team is contributing is more than that. So you will not have a young person who will just get a ticket as a transition. When I say young, it's someone who just started. So we need to be one. We were formed by the same act. HRM-PEP is very independent from IHRM. They're our examining body. We must support. And for us to have that cutoff, we must ensure that we make everything that is possible, listening to you who have done the CHRP since 2016, and also listening to those who practiced HR since 1982. I'm not just talking about 2012. Thank you so much. And I think let's be very respectful to our discussions. Let's carry ourselves how we want to be respected within our institutions. And remember, I want us to practice that we should not just speak for the sake of speaking. And I'm hoping the fellows and some of the founders of the Institute had an opportunity to speak. Let's have that accommodative spirit. Let's also be part of that change that we want to drive. And if you've gone through CHRP and you've done the level 3, then you will mean what I am talking about, especially if you paid attention in leadership and governance. Thank you so much. And we will listen to you guys through as IHRM, as your professional body. And I'm sure we can arrive at a point whereby if we want to keep up with the rest of the profession, if we want to protect our space, then we must allow what the board has thought of for the last 6 years. It was not just born overnight. This was a conversation that was building up. Asanteni sana, and back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CHRP Qureshi Abdullahi, the ED of the IHRM. Those were very kind and good words. And Madam ED has just given a synopsis of where the profession started and the need to be fair to each and everyone who started practicing this profession in the earlier years. We've actually said that it will be disproportionate not to recognize certifications obtained prior to the enactment of the Act and the operationalization of this body. So thank you, Madam Qureshi. Your words have been very kind, and you've meaningfully helped put into perspective some of the things that other professions, the HR profession who started this profession have been saying. So we will give a minute each. We had 5 people to go. We'll give a minute each so that we can hear your sentiments. Then we will give the CEO the chance of reply. Then we can finish the meeting. So Ngetich, you have a minute, kindly. If Ngetich is not around, Mercy and Professor Egesa. Mercy, yes?
Hello, I am around, eh?
Yes.
This is Ngetich.
Yes, Ngetich.
Yes, my question was on what was the critical gap that this policy intends to cure, that we will go out knowing that this is the exact gap that's supposed to be closed by this policy. Number 2, in your opening remarks, you mentioned about the numbers that we are around 18%. So I don't know if opening this leeway is to only fill the number so that we can have the position in the table as you mentioned, or to maintain the professionalism and the certification?
Thank you, Ngetich, for that question and being brief. Mercy, you have 1 minute.
Just echo the same sentiments that these are just shortcut. Let's protect our professional as HR. If the accountants and lawyers go first, then we can. But for now, let's continue. Let the management benchmark what the ISPAC have done, the KCL have done. Then we go in after them. Yeah. For now, there's no shortcut. Yeah.
Okay, we appreciate your sentiments. Professor Egesa.
Thank you very much. My contribution doesn't differ so much from what others have said, and I wanted to bring it from this angle. One, if you look at the way HRM came into being in 2012, it was through a protracted effort, and there are people who pushed that agenda. Those people are not certified HRPs. Now, from a transitional perspective, I would wish that you borrow from the certified public secretaries profession. For them, they had a similar issue. And when they enacted their law in 2002, people who had been practicing as certified secretaries, they were lawyers, they were accountants, they were chartered secretaries of UK. They put in their policy, which is operational up to now, any advocate who was practicing before 2002, 30th June, got now certified. Any accountant who was practicing before 2002, 30th May. So they put a date. As we are, it seems we're just glossing over, and people may pass through because you have not been specific by giving a date, a transition date. Because even in the Act, it had been clearly stated that there was to be a transitional clause. And in that transitional clause, it was the previous people who were the examination body that was offering the course prior to was technically meant to cease offering that course so that CHRP becomes the landmark. Up to now, there are still people who are doing higher diploma. I'm bringing that to their attention because there are people who may be having even 20 years experience. Then they did that higher diploma last year. You'll find that you'll certify them, and they were not affected by the law as at when the law came into effect. They have just avoided doing CHRP, and they now transition. So we need to build this profession in a better way by getting people certified, but we need to appreciate the people who now brought the profession to where it is by ensuring that an act of parliament is enacted, by appreciating them, by certifying them, but we put that date as per the date when the act came into, HRM-PEB came into existence, not the act as such, but when HRM-PEB, when the first HRP exam was offered, fix it there.
Thank you,
Put a
Professor
marker, please.
Egesa. Thank you, Professor Egesa. We've heard your sentiments. We have, you can continue putting your sentiments on the chat. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, Mpoke, Malala, Nathaniel, Dr. Immaculate, Tim, and Selina. Those are the only 7 people who will speak before we finish because we've taken a long time. We had promised stakeholders it will take an hour, but I've given until I've given 7 more people to speak. So, Professor Egesa, we've heard your sentiments. Mpoke, you can go ahead kindly, 1 minute, and stick to the question.
Thank you. Director Kuresha, with all due respect, Constitution was also changed and we adopted the new Constitution of Kenya. Let the people that were practicing human resource before 2012 understand that things have changed. There is a rigorous process that entails examination to acquire a certification. If there must be given titles, just like the Engineers Board of Kenya, let them be called a graduate human resource profession, not necessarily CHRP-K. Let us not erode the true meaning of human resource profession. If we must stay relevant, if we must stay valuable in the market, we must maintain our standards. Thank you.
Alex Gakubi, kindly, you can unmute your mic. Alex and Mpoke, you can finish.
I am
30
through. I am
seconds.
done. I am
Okay,
done.
thank you so much. Malala. Malala, you can unmute and speak.
Right here.
Alex Gakumbi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am making a comment, and I'm making a comment in reference to the HRM Act that we are referring to. And my comment is, what is the problem with this act? If you look at part 7 of this act on the offenses, the reason why even as IHRM or HRM you may not be in a position to implement it is because, like, unlike the healthcare sector where some of us practice, the liability for people who are practicing as not HR has been put on the individuals and not as the employer. If you look at the other bodies, for example, healthcare, the liability for recruiting a person who is not qualified has been put to the employing authority, which is the hospital. But in this case, the liability of the person who is practicing as an HR has been put on the individual. What this leaves is that the employers will continue to recruit people who are not professionals in this area simply because there is no liability that comes directly to the employers. Rather, the liability goes to the individuals. So let's go back to the root cause. Who are practicing without the licenses.
Kindly, Agnes, you can unmute. And the admin, kindly, you can mute those who are not speaking. Yes, Malala, you can finish.
I was saying the root cause of how it makes this policy or this act to be difficult to be implemented, both by IHRM or even HRM-PEB, is because of where you've put the liability in the act. You've put to the individuals, not to the employers. In healthcare, we are able to easily ensure that the employer is complying because the liability on those people who are practicing has been put on the employer. The employer must make sure they comply. But in our case, the liability is on the professionals. So let's pick that up.
Thank you so much, Malala. We've had your sentiments. Nathaniel.
Thank you very much. Just to add on to what a good number of very eminent persons have talked about. First is to thank you for coming up with this meeting, because then it means you have recognized that the people need to come in and give in their thoughts about a very good idea you've brought. The policy that has been suggested, I hope it is a draft which is going to be subject to this kind of discussion so that you make it stronger. However, I am very hesitant to go the route that is being proposed here, because in all aspects it looks like a shortcut. 20 years later, after joining HR, I've not sat for the CHRP certification, but which I'm intending to do this year as one of my targets. Why? We think that is a good thing. All other professions have got this kind of certification for all members. And with all due respect to older members who've been in this practice for ages, I don't think it would be a very tall order to give them exemption in certain areas, but still go through this kind of certification. It gives credence to the HR practice. Look at the boardroom today. How many HR people do we see there? There are very few in the C-suite. Why? Because there's a name that has been given to HR as opposed to other professions, which puts it in a lower pecking order as people who are not serious. We're already on a very good course, what has been happening, and people have been improving. The kind of numbers that we're having certified as CHRPs is increasing. That means that we are on the right track. Let us not remove this momentum by looking for what obviously appears to be a shortcut, which is not going to give credence and the respect that this noble profession deserves, and going into the future, probably even strengthen it, so that anybody who passes through that and holds that title, CHRP, is indeed a qualified person to handle matters HR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Dr. Immaculate, we have 2 to go.
Thank you.
Dr. Immaculate.
Thank you very much. I will just maybe echo the sentiment from the seniors who are inside here, including Professor Agesa. what we are doing is not really good. As the professionals, we cannot and we will not stand by the leadership of HRM-PEB taking action that threaten to erode the integrity of HR professionals in this country. I can assure you, people have talked, people are very bitter, and as professionals, will not sit back to allow this reckless dilution of our standards in this country. Some of us, we really struggle to be where we are with this area, and now you want to give the people who does not deserve, somebody who has been practicing all this time, now is 58 years, you want to give him a title he doesn't deserve. No, this is very unfair to this country. We're not going to allow this. Go back and do the benchmarking with the ISPAC. Go back and do with the procurement. Why do you want to do this to the HR professionals? I'm sorry for the leadership. We are not going to accept this. Thank you. Let these old mamas, old ones, go back to class. Sisi tulisoma, tulichukua loan. Kwa nini now you want to give
Thank you, Dr.
titles?
Immaculate. Thank you, Dr.
Be fair to
Immaculate.
us. We are professional and we will not allow. We will take you to court.
Thank you, Dr. Immaculate. Professionals, I just want to remind you as we engage, let's be respectful and have the code of ethics and conduct that we teach to others.
I think people are respectful. It is only that people are so painful feeling this is a shortcut.
Thank
We
you.
are
We've had.
We are
Okay,
feeling
thank
bad.
Tim.
I think.
Yes.
Instead,
yes.
very
This is
respectful.
Timothy.
We are very, very respectful, and we are professionals. But we are very, very sad
Thank
to
you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Immaculate, we've heard you. Thank you. We've taken your sentiments. Asante sana. We
you very
appreciate
much.
the sentiments and we will put in Nini. Tim and Selina, the two of you, we can finish. Then the CEO will answer to all the questions and finish the meeting. Thank you.
Reject.
Thank you very much, everyone. This is Dr. Selina. And we have had the sentiments
Timothy,
of...
excuse me. My name is Timothy. I was the one who was given the mic.
Selina and Timothy, thank you so much. Selina and Timothy, you are the two who have been left. So we'll go, let Selina go. It's okay, Timothy, you'll go after Selina. You'll be the last one. Selina, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Timothy. I want to echo the sentiments of the CEO, HRM, and I'm doing that on this grounds. We have talked of benchmarking, and we have also mentioned some organizations that put a transitional clause in their transition when they got the charter. At the time I started practicing in 1987, I was a board member of IHRM when this transition was being worked on. So I've played for quite some time since that time. There was the idea of having the transition put at that time, but the most urgent thing was to get the CHRP, whatever, to get that, was to get ourselves recognized, and secondly was to ensure that we have enough finances. That was very important. So the transition matter was to come data, which is now coming at this particular point. So I just want us to benchmark the way we have said. How did others transit, and what happened to those who are already in the profession? And some of you have already said what the others did and how they allowed that to happen. And to put a time frame, I think that is very, very important. The time frame of who should and who should not, so that it is something that will hopefully come to a close. And when I listened to the first one of the public participations of this process, and I think at that time, it seemed like even this exemption is more, this transition clause more rigorous than...
Kindly, you can unmute Yvonne, HRM.
It's more rigorous than actually doing the exam. I would myself go for the exam even if this option exists. And also the fees is there, and it is the same fees. So there's nothing much that has been jumped in favor of anybody who would want to take this transition that we are talking about. And those are my statements, my fellow professionals.
Thank you, Selina. And we finish with the team. We've had your sentiments and we've picked them. Team, we can finish, then we'll give the CEO to reply and finish the meeting. Team.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to appreciate the contribution of my fellow professionals have made. Mine is after listening to our ED of IHRM, I feel like probably these are conversations we've had and minds are already set on what's supposed to happen. So my question was, is there a problem of us getting feedback on what our contributions are contributed to, or we are just rubber stamping the process that is going on? You know, we have seen it happen in other spaces, but we'd want HRM to be more accountable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, team, and thank you so much for all the stakeholders who have spoken. Just to pick up from where Tim has said, we do public participations because we want to incorporate some of the views, and we want to enrich the document and ensure that it aligns with what the stakeholders' interests are. So you don't have to worry. After this, normally what happens is we go, we recuperate, we incorporate all those you've said, then afterwards we call for a stakeholder validation. And when we call for a stakeholder validation, what happens is each and every point that was given, for example, someone talked about what is the critical gap of this policy, what is it addressing, then we will give an answer to that and how we have incorporated in the policy. So you don't have to worry, team. After this, we will have our team go and look at each and every person's input, review, and everything that you've said, and we will have a matrix. It's called a stakeholder matrix, and that matrix will definitely address all your concerns, and we will call for a stakeholder validation. And just the way we have emailed and texted all of you, we will text and email all of you so that you can see as HRM-PEB what we have done with all the concerns that we have gotten. And we will also give a way forward because you are our stakeholders and we listen to you and we value your feedback. Asanteni sana. CEO CHRP Margaret Ngu.
First, I want to express my regret to someone here who is saying that HRM-PEB has made a reckless decision. I think those are not kind words. I think that is not professional language. Let us not pretend. You see, we have brought this policy to you because we value you and we respect you, and we just want to hear your views. And I want to assure you that this is not just rubber stamping. We have heard you, and we are going to the best of our capacity, we are going to incorporate your views. And so let's remain professional. This space is ours. We meet in various forums, all of us, and therefore I think it's important for us to respect each other. HRM-PEB is not here to make reckless decisions. We do not make reckless decisions. We are a professional examinations body. In fact, we can boast that in Kenya, I think we are the best when it comes to professionalism. However, I think what we are offering in this policy is just a pathway for certification. We have various pathways for certifications. This transition policy, I agree with Prof who are saying that it is a bit late, but better late than never. That one we accept. But it's because of what has been happening in the HR space since 2012. There are many things that have not been implemented for one reason or the other. If you read a book by those who started the professional body and even this board, if you read a book by Samson Osero, then you'll understand the journey of this profession. And I think that is why Indi Kuresha was indicating about or talked about the people who came together and sacrificed even their own resources, their effort and everything for this profession. So I want to assure you that this is not a shortcut. We are not doing a shortcut here. And I like the one that the problem actually arose with the way the act was, and we are in the process of reviewing the act. Our act is on a very high gear now, in the process of review. And therefore, I'm sure that everything will be okay, because I agree that we shouldn't have started with certification and then after the certification course, then we move on now to the HRM. People become members of HRM, and then continuously, because of the changing trends, because of the changes in this space, then they are trained continually. So having a certification does not mean that you will not be trained every year. You have to earn the CPD points. You have to be abreast with what is happening in this space, and that is why we have a regulator, and that is why we have many institutions that are doing continuous training, because really training is lifelong. Learning is lifelong. So I'd like to assure you that we are going to look at all what you have said. This is not a rubber stamping. We value feedback. We have listened to you, and we are going to be very inclusive, adopt here what is adoptable, because I've had very, very good ideas and very, very constructive ideas from you. And then we'll have a validation. This policy is a draft. Yeah, we've not taken it anywhere for implementation. That is why we brought it to you, so that you can tell us what you think about it and probably where we can improve. And by the way, this policy will only, it can only, I think, impact on very few professionals. And that is why I think Grace was saying that the criteria for approval is not fair, because those who are likely to be affected by this criteria maybe are almost retiring. And also she's saying that 91,000 is too much, but what we were calculating, or how we arrived at 91,000, is because if you sit for our exams as a private candidate, then it costs you 91,000, because it pays for all the exemptions. You go through the process, you get registered, you get the number, your papers are vetted, and all that. Then you seek for exemptions. So when you're given exemptions, if you are to be given exemptions, you'll pay everything 91,000. If you are to go through the formal process, you'll pay 91,000. And therefore we thought that it is just fair that we don't advantage anyone being transitioned, that we do not advantage them a lot by telling them just to pay 20,000. And this is a draft, Nathaniel. This is a draft. And we want to say that, and as HR professionals, I would like to ask you, what is certification and what are the reasons for certification? You see, certification is a demonstration of knowledge, skill, and attitude. It's a demonstration of competency. Okay? So ask yourself this question. Before 2012, does it mean that we did not have people who are competent and who are doing the HR job well? Does it really mean that? They did the HR policies, they're the ones who did the HR tools, they're the ones who implemented them, they're the ones who are in this space. They came before us, they were the ones who are in this space. Does it mean really that they were incompetent? Actually, certification is just a approval of competence and for standardization, so that if I say I'm competent, I'm CHRP Margaret Gu, then it means that just like CHRP professor is just like, any other CHRP, just for standardization. But if we can be able to prove that someone has done this work, someone is competent. I personally, I have done the CHRP, just like many of us here. We know the journey that we have traveled. If we have traveled a long journey, does it mean that it is the most efficient journey? Does it mean that I'm just giving you a thought? Think about this. Does it mean it is the best journey? I just came across two people who had an interview somewhere, and the interviewer was telling me that they said that they aren't CHRP. But when they were asked questions even about the HR tools, they could not even say which HR tools they are applying in the organization. And therefore, papers and knowledge, and competence go together. We want to give you a paper because you are competent. In fact, if you do a lot of, theorizing knowledge and you pass the CHRP examinations, I want to ask this question. I am not saying anything, but I just want you to be open-minded and look at the other perspective. And why it took this long is because of what has been happening in the HR space. Read the book by Samson Osero. We are going to post that title because it gives you the history of where this profession has come from in Kenya. About the criteria, we are going to look at the criteria and in relation to the suggestions and the questions that have been asked. And our mandate, we saying yes, it is to do curricula, to examine and to certify. And someone asked, why are we jumping the process? And I'm saying that we are not jumping the process. We are just doing, I think what has happened before is a professional injustice. And even to me, it has been done because I'm a CHRP and I have done so many and I sat for those exams. But you see, I keep on saying this. I am a candle now in human resource management, leading this board. But does it mean if I light another candle that that it becomes weaker? No. Let us just join this space, contribute to this space, be our brother's keeper, and we walk. Let us walk together, and that's why we are here, and we have really handled, and we are not jumping the process. And that is why we are saying for us even to transition someone, it must be those who are there before 2012, and they must have a professional training, professional certificate. That professional certificate could have been given by NEC or by other international bodies, but when you have a certification from international bodies, you have to take it to KNQA, to the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. They look at it and they equate it for you. So we do not accept, those qualifications from out there if they have not been equated by KNQA. And, it's about the person who asked about why start the policy, then stakeholding, instead of starting from stakeholding. This is a draft policy. And it's like about the chicken and the hen, which comes first. It depends on whether you are given the egg, then you hatch the chicken, or you're given the chicken and then it lays the egg. It is the same. So we have brought it to you, and this is not final, so that you can give us your ideas. And then we incorporate the good ideas that you have. And yes, I agree, things changed. Someone saying that now the syllabus has changed. We review our syllabus after every 5 years. This one now, our new syllabus now is bound for a mini review. But we encourage people now, once you have been certified, you join HRM. They do CPD training continuously to upgrade you, to upskill you on the new knowledge, on what is happening in the current in the market now. And also there are many other training institutions and consultants that IHRM has accredited that continuously train you so that you can become competent, improve your competence every year. So you see, once we certify you, then we are done with you. We hand over to the HR space, and there's a lot happening in HR space regulated by IHRM. We have benchmarked, we have looked at what the lawyers did. We have benchmarked with the ICS. We have even benchmarked with the Australian Institute because we want to go global. And so we are rectifying what is happening in the HR space. And if you look at the public, the human resource management bill now in Parliament, then you realize that any professional practicing in Kenya will have to have a CHRP, will have to be certified, and will have to be a member of IHRM. And so this pays so that when we reach there, then certification must precede the licensing, must precede becoming a member of IHRM. So we are not yet there, but I think the journey, we've been doing a journey, and I'm sure that we are going to get there. And our process is not ambiguous. We are just agile. I think agility is not ambiguity. I'm not defending ourselves, but I'm just trying to say we've just discovered that there are several pathways to certifications. I think that is why we have RPL, and even someone asked about, I think someone asked about RPL. So then the pathways that now we have the formal one, we have the formal certification where you do the exams and you can go to college or you can read on your own. And then we have the RPL, which RPL is different from the exemptions because RPL is about mostly formalizing the knowledge that has not been formalized, and then we certify you or we give you a certificate. Because the spirit of the government and the spirit of ILO is that, and I think you are very aware that you can learn, actually the best teacher is your experience. You learn through work every day, solving problems every day, facing the new trends and knowing what to do with them every day. You learn a lot. So the fact that you don't have a paper does not mean that you are blank. You could actually be very competent. So we want to assess that competence. RPL is just a method of assessment. So we want to assess your competence, and if we are satisfied that you are competent, we will certify you. So it's just a pathway. So I think we are an institution that is looking at different pathways of certifying our HR professionals, and we are doing this together. We are walking this journey with you. I don't want to be long. I just want to say, I really appreciate you. I think there was one which was, what was the critical gap? I like that. I like that from Getich. What was the critical gap? What made us come up with this policy? You see, we realized that what has been happening in the HR space, like I have said, is that we have not implemented every aspect of the act. And so we looked at the act and we saw that we jumped, the transitional clause or the transitional process. And we thought that we are very unfair to those who were there before 2012. And in the spirit of inclusivity and fairness, and maybe meddling what we can now call the professional injustice, it made us look back, and this transitional policy, therefore, is to fill that gap which was left out because of leaving out the transitional policy. I want to finish by saying, thank you so much. All your queries will be addressed. I think Aseka can tell you where or how we are going to address, maybe because I know there are some on the chat that have not been answered. And I want to assure you, we are here for you. We are going to answer all of them, all your concerns, and we are going to incorporate your good suggestions into this policy so that transition only is usually for a while. It's usually for a short time. We didn't say when it is starting. Someone asked that because we needed to come back to you. We have to ensure that the policy is okay before we can say when we are implementing it, if at all, and if in good faith, and if practicable, if we are going to implement it, then we will talk about the date. But right now, we are developing, you're helping us to develop the policy with your good suggestions. Thank you. Back to the MC.
Thank you so much, CEO, HRM PEP, that is CHRP Margaret Ngu, for the words. And as I've said, and I've put down there our email, the corporate communications email and the info email and our contacts. You can give all your feedback there, and we will address all the feedback. After we've addressed them, we will put up the document on social media and also on the website on how we have addressed each and every concern. Afterwards, we will call for a meeting. It's called a stakeholder validation meeting, so that you validate whether the concerns that were raised have been adequately addressed, and afterwards we can give a way forward. As we've said, this is like the first stage of bringing it to the stakeholders, and with other stages. So it's still in draft. The policy has not begun yet. It's not enforced yet. When it will begin officially is when everything has been addressed. But for now, we are still reviewing everything our stakeholders are telling us, because our stakeholders are very key. They are key partners in each and everything that we do. Even when we enhance the HR competency, we ensure that we tag them along, and we ensure that we listen to them very carefully and very critically, and we take all the submissions. So at this point, I want to call our manager examination administration, Mr. Abed, CHRP Abed, to give closing remarks, closing remarks, and also to give a vote of thanks. Abed.
Thank you, Maureen Oseka. Thank you. Just briefly, as we move towards adjourning our meeting, I wish to take this opportunity and just re-echo the words of our CEO that this is indeed a draft, which we've submitted here for us so that we can all be involved and we can give our valuable inputs, which I think we have done. And as CS Lorraine has put it, we are going to address and we are going to consider all the inputs that we have received from you. So I really appreciate all of us for joining this meeting today and for willing to contribute. I am really impressed by how passionate we are in defending our profession. That is HR. That is quite impressive. And I'm sure this profession, by the look of things, with the passion that I can see from our stakeholders, it is indeed going far. However, we must also appreciate that actually HR is a young profession that we are trying to build, and we have made strides right from where our founders, or rather where we found the profession, and our founders had done a good job before, and therefore we can only come together and even make it better for ourselves and even for those who are coming after us. Soon we are getting to those levels where where ASPAC is. We are getting to those levels for sure. We are making good strides. So I want to appreciate again the ED, CHRP Kuresha Abdullahi. I thought she really threw some very good insights. I think that was very well articulated, and also by reminding us where we come from and the strides that we have, made so far. Our CEO has done a good job in responding to most of the concerns that have been raised. Yes, we might not be able to respond all of them. We continually engage in our media, in our social media platforms, and we will continue, explaining and talking to you on how, or rather, which progress has been made right from where we leave this discussion today. Our presenter, Leo Komasinte, thank you for the job well done, well presented. Our programmer, Lauren, for taking us even to this far. Thank you again to our staffs here at HRM who attended the meeting today, and also putting this together, helping in one way or another for us to have this engagement. And again, as I said, you, our students, our stakeholders, you really own this profession, and we appreciate all of you for joining and giving us the insights and talking your heart out. We presented the policy, this is what you think, and then you can see, there are some of us who think this is good, and others think this we can do, we can improve in this area. And we are going to consider all that as we move and even advance this engagement from today moving forward. So we're really grateful. I'll not wind up without also reminding ourselves, especially those who did the old curriculum where I was. You remember the old curriculum would exempt almost all the units until people would do 2-3 units. So I think if the policy had come that time, maybe it would have been easier because many would have not, would have taken that route. But I see, and we understand maybe where the discourse is as of now, but we'll find a way of balancing that and make sure that it comes out well. So we appreciate all of you, to our board members present, board members, HRM or other stakeholders, our industry players, and even those who went before us, our founders, to make this profession be where it is. And that's why we find it, and we can only make it better moving forward. So team, thank you so much for attending. We're really grateful for all of you. I believe when we'll call you again, you will turn up so that we can have fruitful engagements and see how do we make our professions better. It is a good thing, for example, for those of us who would want us to get to a level where ISPAC, for example, you must have CPA so that you can join ISPAC. Personally, I have CPA, I'm a member of ISPAC, and that's actually what happens. But you can imagine if we do the same now, at this point where we are, it means we'll only have 3,000 members who would qualify to become members of IHRM. So we need to grow, and this is one of the ways that I think we can bring in and help us also get to where we need to be as a profession. So slowly we are going there, and we will really reach there in consultation with you, and we will keep you updated and posted so that we can build this profession together. I want to stop there and say a word of prayer, and then we can adjourn the meeting until when Lorraine tells us that all our sentiments have been incorporated, and therefore we can converge again. So I request I do a word of prayer. Shall we pray? Our Father and our God, we thank you once again for this day. We glorify you and we honor you. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of good health. Thank you, even Father, for the job that you've given us, even to serve in this profession of HR, not just as work, but to fulfill your divine purpose. Father, we thank you for the engagement that we've just had, all the sentiments that have been shared, all the opinions that have been given forward. As even we move forward from here, we want to pray that you're going to guide us. We want to pray for your wisdom. We want to pray for your insight and foresight that, Father, you are going to lead us through. For the rest of the day, be with us, protect us. We give you glory and we exalt you. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we make a prayer. Amen. If you can say amen, you can say it.
Reject.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Have a good day. Have a good day. Tutembee pamoja. Tutembee pamoja. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Watu warudi class.
But reject. Reject.
Reject.
We reject.
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 CEO to go home.
Reject.
Accept.
Reject.
Tumelipa pesa mingi hivyo alafu mtu anakuja na zero.
Reject. Deliver.
Hapana.
Very unfair.
We need a WhatsApp group.